Thank you, guys. So yeah, we've got 4 segments to go through in this in terms of our big picture, where we are, what we're trying to do over the course of the coming year, what we've released so far, our roadmap, and we've got some small housekeeping announcements right at the end. So just to welcome our product team, I've been introduced. We've got Andy Green, our product manager for Jadu Connect, and Alison Hook, our new starter, who's now our product manager for Jadu Central. They're going to be joining me on stage in a moment, but just to kick off, in terms of, we are aware of the challenges that you guys are going through at the moment. As we heard in our keynote, in our earlier sessions, you're really up against it in so many ways. Digital inclusion, navigating these emerging technologies, funding constraints, and these legacy systems with their technical debts. We are, over the next year and beyond, trying to bring in AI, emerging technologies, and digital layer to help you address these challenges and to deliver an amazing service. We're on a mission, really, to bring AI into local government. And when we look at this, we're trying to marry up our digital layer, our integration, our low-code extension points with our AI tooling, so that we can really join these up and do more with less, building better customer experiences and exposing deep integration on our websites and doing things in a seamless manner. So that's how we're going to be setting out our stage going forward over the next year. What we've done so far is a whole load of features this past year. There's so much. Flexible event booking is something that we did talk about at last Academy, but we have really enhanced the functionality for creating and managing events and being able to offer the booking functionality on your website. It's seamlessly integrated with Forms and My Account. It's integrated with our Jadu Connect product, and it is ideal for all types of corporate and community event bookings. And I'm going to bring on Alison, who's going to take you through it on the demo.
So this is going to be a very whistle-stop tour. So to access it, you go to Event Bookings and Manage Bookings. Because this is separated out, you'll have the same user privileges options, so view, edit, delete. You can make sure that people can't do the things you don't want them to do and do the things you do want them to do. So if I go there, calendar groups. So this gives you the option to split your bookable venues by specific locations. So it could be meeting rooms in a venue, it could be sports pitches in a park, it could be pods in an office, anything that can be grouped by an address. So as you can see, this page shows you page templates and where it's used, so you can click there and see which templates it's used on, which forms it's used on as well. And then when you access a calendar group, you can see the different venues within it. And then clicking through, so you've got event configurations, pricing configurations. I'll go through that in a little bit. It's just a little teaser of what's coming next. So if you go into this, then you can link it to an Office 365 calendar, add some extra information about the venue. So I'm going to go back. Something you've all been asking for is about blocked times. You can see this wonderful tab here. So you can go in there. You can say block bank holidays. So you don't have to manage that yourself. You click that toggle and bank holidays are covered for you. Then you can also add specific blocked days. So if you've got that weird time between Christmas and New Year, you can add that in there if you've got training time. So yeah, you can add in, if you've got someone polishing the floor, if you've got someone painting the walls, you can block that time out and make sure that no one can book it. And then the final tab here is an at-a-glance of what's been booked, and you can filter it by start date, end date, things like that. Really useful if you've got that facilities person who really wants a printed version to put on a clipboard. You can actually print that page and give it to them. So it doesn't have to be online. If you don't want it to, you can give them that at the end of the day. That's a good bit of that. Here, you've got the option to change a location and cancel a booking as well. So, how am I doing so far? 2 minutes over? Keep going? Right, we're going to keep going. So, next one, flexible configurations. So those of you who already use events will recognise quite a lot of this. Let me click into that one. Is that all big enough still? Yeah, cool. So you can now see there's this option here. You have got all day and flexible along with the usual slots. And I'll just scroll down, but if you're using this, you'll probably recognise it already. Go back. And then third tab, here is pricing groups. So this is where you choose when pricing applies and whether it's a price per hour or per day. So you can set up different prices for weekdays, weekends, seasons. And then pricing rules can be applied to specific groups that we're calling segments. So say you've, going back to my olden days of working for Coventry, in Coventry we had something called a GoCV card where certain people eligible for benefits could get a discount. You could add that there. It could be that you give them a discount if they don't want to use the heating or they don't want to use the Wi-Fi. Whatever you like, you can put in there. You can modify the price, so you can add an amount or change it by percentage. Okay. And then alongside all these, there's 3 form template actions and then 3 new formal components. And then, shall I go front end? You got time? Brilliant. So that's all the funky stuff behind the scenes. And then, hopefully, so this is a new homepage widget, which shows me, as logged in as me, which room bookings I have. So this is using the new Origin theme as well. So a little sneak preview for what's coming in a little bit. So if you go here to make a booking, begin the form. It's not a very exciting form, just to show you what's there. How many people? Let's say 200. There we go, tick some boxes. And then you will see this very exciting calendar where people can book. So if I choose, say, 10 a.m. and I want it for the next 3 weeks, I can check availability. Oh, and they're all available. Great. Then there we go. And then this is another form part where it will work out the pricing for you. And then I've skipped the payment bit because that'd be even more boring for you to watch, but you can add payments in here. And then submit the form. Da-da-da. Right. And then, just to prove this works, you've also got the options to cancel and move. So I'm going to cancel the 30th. I understand that's definitely going to be deleted. And submit. There we go, so that one's cancelled. And then I might, I don't know, I'll move this one around. Let's go for that one. So I want to choose Monday, and then I'm going to switch it for, I don't know, Saturday, shall we? Let's go for that. Oh, but that one's unavailable, so it gives me options. And I'm going, ooh, well, I didn't want the Monday anyway, let's go to Friday. There we go. So that is a very whistle-stop tour of the functionality in the back end and the front end. And then imagine a lot of you looking at this and thinking, oh, could I use this? Could I get a business case for this? So as you'd expect, because it's a Jadu product, it does come as accessible out the box, which I'm a bit of a plug for James in a minute, because he's going to talk even more about accessibility. There's no iframe dependency. Sometimes with other systems, they do use a lot of iframes. Don't have to worry about that. You can integrate with Office 365 calendars. You can set up your discounts, so you haven't got someone bring kind of a bit of a discount because of this. It's all done for you. And then the payments included. You don't have to send them a separate email saying, pay me now, you haven't paid me.
So yeah, this is built on top of our forms package. So it's entirely configurable. You can collect whatever information you want. And there is no limit in terms of the amount of bookings that you're taking. There's no limits in the amount of departments or areas of your organisation that you are exposing to event bookings. So it's a one flat cost. It's great. Whew. It's been a busy year. Next up, direct debit adapters. Also amazing. I don't have a live demo of this one, unfortunately. Next time, Alison. In the past, we've only integrated with one direct debit provider. We want to be able to offer more flexibility, and we also want to offer different solutions. So as we have things like recurring payments entering the market, we want to be able to offer solutions which will take advantage of this. So we have reworked our entire direct debit solution to make this something that's driven by adapters. So if you are not, I think at the moment we're using Bottomline, is the one that comes out of the box. If you are interested in a different supplier, and in the past we've had to say no, we're now able to look at that for you if you want to proceed. We've also done some rework on our direct debits. So previously you had to have an account, and now if you would prefer that direct debits are something which people are able to sign up for and access anonymously or through other authentication methods, so using codes through Connect, for example, this is something now that we can support in Jadu Central. That is in Central 3.3. Next, we had another big one, which was a brand new out-the-box photon theme. So this is the Origin theme, which is fully customizable. It's out the box. It's no-code customizable. So this is all customizations that you can do with like zero technical expertise and technical knowledge. It's really something that's very accessible and intuitive, and expected to deliver the best of user experience, but with no additional cost. At the moment, this is main site only, but I've got examples. Here's one example of our Origin theme, and just to demonstrate that it's very flexible. I mean, this is the same theme, but configured slightly differently to give a completely different experience. But we are maintaining this actively. So 3.4 was when this was first released. 3.6, which went out today, is our first update with new features. So we have new features like being able to manage your logo as an SVG, being able to hide the categories menu completely, being able to turn off the sign-in links if that's something you don't want. And we're going to be bringing that into Galaxies in 4.1. So from 4.1, if you've got a photon site, rather than having a custom, we've got currently, I think, 6 themes. There'll be then an additional one, which offers all of this customization out the box. And then to top it off in 4.1, we're also going to start adding in the step-by-step component as a document layout. So I think that's something from GDS. It's in the GDS style guide, so that you can have step-by-step navigation on some of your content types. And so that will be incorporated into Origin too. It's something that we're actively developing, and so if you decide to use it, and you have suggestions for where you'd like us to be able to implement more flexibility and offer you more options, let me know. Because that's definitely something that we are actively improving and delivering to you as part of this digital layer, having a full toolbox of items in local government that you guys can pick up and reuse time and time again. So, and this is, I don't know how well this video will translate. It may be a little bit low quality, but this is the process of going in and editing theme settings. They are the same theme settings that we have available in a number of our themes, so you may already have a theme that's utilising these, but I think the difference really is here, the level of customisation that we are aiming for. This is our first implementation with the smallest number of customisations at this point, but we'll be extending this month in, month out to offer more and more non-technical, no-code implementation for customers. So this is my terrible video skills, going in and editing bits and pieces of this site. So if we go into the news section, it's got different sorts of layout for news. So this is kind of a masonry style layout where it stacks the content, but you can go in and quickly turn that off if that's not, you know, the style that you prefer, and then it flicks over to just being a list-based approach, kind of very traditionally Jadu. The navigation, so whereas for many of our sites you have to build out those navigation pages, they just, if you leave them out of the box, it's just a list of links, which can be quite visually unappealing. We have this tile-based navigation, which comes defaulted to on, but if you don't like that, you can then switch it back to the older style list-based navigation. So all of this is available at the moment for a main site, but we will be offering this as well going forwards into our galaxies. So you can switch between simple search-led interfaces, and if that doesn't work for you, you can turn it off. We do provide some low-code options to override things like the CSS, the headers, the footers. So you can go in there and you can just start from scratch and completely change what the header looks like if you've got those skills in-house. But this is really, we're really kind of like trying to provide options that support everybody. So if you don't have those skills, you can also edit it in different ways. All right, I'm going to move on because we have got lots to go through. Menu Manager has come out of beta. So that is our updated system for managing menus on your website. Again, it is entirely no code. You can manage all of this through a simple drag-drop interface to build out the navigation on your site. Depending on the implementation, those kind of like the theme of your site, we can drop in images, we can drop in rich text. So if you've got mega menus now, you can manage that through the control center and build these out. We can support multiple menus, and we can support adding in additional elements like class names and other bits and pieces into your taxonomy. I'm not got 3.6 on here, but 3.6 has just shipped, so I should have put that on. I'm going to hand over to Andy, who's going to take us through our Jadu Connect improvements.
Cool. Thank you, Sarah. I don't know. Which button? Sorry, I only work in IT, it's fine. This year's been a busy year for Connect team. I've got to go over some sort of flagship things that we've done, but we've also done a shed load of other improvements. Quite a lot of our focus has been on reliability and performance, so not things that you actually see in the software itself, but under the sort of body of all the code. We spent a lot of time trying to improve our performance. We've done some enhancements to the Echo integration, adding new no-code options to be able to perform different actions. We have added a new email list field type, which will allow you to collect a group of email addresses, which I will show you sort of how that can be used a little later. So the first thing that we added at the start of this year was SAML admin authentication, so single sign-on for your staff users, so that they can use secure credentials with their organization accounts or your organization's accounts. The first thing that we need to know is that staff users now have a separate login page, and on that login page, they get an alternative sign-in option that will go through to your identity provider, whether that's Microsoft Entra, Shibboleth, or any of the other SAML-supported identity providers, and your users can sign in using that. So I'm just going to show you 3 scenarios of how this might be used. The first one is from Connect through to your identity provider and then logged into Connect. Yeah, it does play, cool. So I don't trust live demos, so I've recorded videos. This is like my 10th Academy, so I've kind of learned from lessons in the past. So in there, we signed in using Microsoft, signed us into Connect, and then we signed out. Well, then went to the sign out option. So that's directly from Connect. But majority of you who've got Connect have also got Central. So what about users from Central? Well, they too can sign in directly from Central in the single sign-on option that we've currently got to Connect. So that's the shared admin accounts between Central and Connect. But this time, they also can use the single sign-on option. So see how that looks like. So here I'm on Central. Go to sign in with Connect. Sign in with the single sign-on option. See if I... And then we are now signed into Central. And if I go to Connect, I'm also signed in to Connect. Now, that middle page, who wants the middle page of the Connect login page? So what we can do is we can configure it so that you bypass the Connect login page. So from Central, the magic will happen and you'll go to your identity provider, sign in there, back to Central, and be signed into both Central and Connect. So let's just have a look at that. I didn't get any faster at typing the password. So signed into Central, also signed into Connect, but it's a more seamless experience. And you can control that experience. You can choose whether to enable that option or not. So we support all the major identity providers, Microsoft Entra ID, Azure, OneLogin, Shibboleth, any identity provider that provides SAML standards, you can hook up into Jadu Connect and start using this. So this shipped in January. It's available to use now. If you want any more information about it, feel free to come and find me at lunch, and I can sort of talk you through how you would set that up. Something else that we released was bringing shared filter set management. With shared filter sets, your users are creating filters. They are sharing them with their teams, but there isn't a single place for oversight on those filters. And what happens if the person who set up that filter leaves the organization? Who manages that filter? Who has access to that filter? Up until now, the answer was, we don't know. Now we've got a single place to manage your shared filters, where you can change the owner, you can reassign the filters. You can do that in bulk as well. So if you've got a user and they've got a dozen or so filters, we can bulk change them all in to a new owner. We can change the filter names if we've deemed them that they need changing. So yeah, somewhere central to manage. This was released January time. And to enable it, you just need to go into your role settings and give yourself permissions to manage shared filters. Something else that we've done is we've enhanced our visibility options on case fields. So up until now, you could only restrict visibility on case fields by a user's role. You can now do this by groups as well as the roles. So you have greater control over who can see and interact with your case fields. By default, any existing fields will be open to all groups, which is the sort of previous behavior. But you can go and edit existing fields, or when you're creating a new field, you can set the group visibility options on them. Something else that we've added is multiple user assignment and de-assignment from a case. So this is where that email list field comes in. What it will allow you to do is do dynamic case membership interactions or automation, I suppose. So you could pass in a list of users in that email list field. The assign email list rule action will read those users. Any email addresses which match a user account will be assigned to the case. Any email addresses that don't currently match a user account will be invited to create an account, and as soon as they've signed up for an account, they will then have access to that case. We've also added the option to remove all case membership. So if you want to dynamically reassign your case to a different team, you can remove the previous team, add in a new team. What this really allows you to do is make your case membership dynamic. At the moment, previously you'd have to choose specific users to assign it to. Now you can run it from case values. Moving on, we did some integration with CloudPass recently, which is a vehicle booking access control system, so ANPR cameras on barriers to car parks. And it's a no-code kind of solution. You can create the form, raise the case in Connect. Within Connect, the integration will pick up that booking. It will create the booking in CloudPass, and then when the driver of the vehicle approaches the camera, the barrier will open for them. We can also edit the booking, so if you need to change the registration of the booking, you can do that, and also cancel the booking and it will delete it from CloudPass. So I think there's a little video of the integrations and how you would configure it. So it's all done within the control center. You don't need to write any code or any kind of like technical ability to do this. You just need to sort of set it up, configure some mappings. And I think that's... And then finally, once you've configured the integration, if you add a rule, here you can apply the integration, and then that will automate the whole process for you. So moving on to what we're working on now. So the Connect team is currently working on configurable webhook payloads. So we've had webhooks in Connect for a long time, and you get the standard payload detailing your case and its relationships. That may not suit every scenario. You may want to only send certain amount of information, or the system you're trying to send the webhook to may require it to be in a certain format or sort of syntax. Configurable webhook payloads enhances our webhook offering by allowing you to define how that payload looks. And you can use the standard form case type variables within those custom payload, which will evaluate in real time and give you the data you need. We are expanding our single sign-on offering to citizens and organizations. So front-end citizen users will be able to use a single sign-on option, such as Microsoft Entra External ID. Love the naming conventions. So we're working on that at the moment. Back to Sarah.
Only a few slides in terms of what we're doing. So we're really expanding in Jadu Central 4 the functionality that we're offering with our variable picker. So that's informed. So when you're going in and you're grabbing data that a customer has provided you in the form, at the moment you can go in, you can select from a particular value and it'll stick it verbatim into whatever email or output you have chosen. And the options that you can choose from in terms of how that content is presented back are limited to what Jadu's already given you access to. And what we're trying to do is give you much more flexibility. So there's more presentation options for how that data is being taken from your form and then being inserted into your emails or whatever output you've got going on. So that's on the variable picker. We do have one other change as well coming in Central 4, which I've not got a slide for because I was rushed and I forgot. But we also have on our, if you're familiar with our forms interfaces, where we have repeatable form fields, so collecting data multiple times. At the moment, you can't pre-fill those. And you can't pre-fill it without a bit of a workaround. And so we are putting that into the software. We're making that much simpler and much more configurable. So we're expecting Jadu Central 4 to be a really big update for those of you who are using our forms package. And then going forwards, we've seen some of the ways that Jadu is going to be using AI. We're also embedding OpenAI integration and other AI platform integrations into our central application. So we want to be looking at it in terms of how we how we review content going through workflow, how we look at images, how we look at generating widgets and other places where AI can really help you be more efficient, save you time, do more with less. And I think this is going to be the last time, in some respects, that these roadmap slides look quite like this. So in the first half of our academy, we were talking about our AI applications. At the moment, those aren't represented on these roadmap slides, as we are racing to get to our first versions. But next year, there's going to be a number of more roadmaps. Jadu Central, so we shipped a whole load of releases. We've just this morning shipped Jadu Central 3.6, and really the headline in Jadu Central 3.6 is the ability to do an in situ upgrade to Photon. So if you're using classic templates, being able to, without having to have separate sites, switch over. That's something that we'll be able to offer going forwards. We've just covered Jadu Central 4.0. As well as those big changes to how forms are working, we're also introducing compatibility with PHP 8.3. And then moving forwards into 4.1, we are going to be looking at smart mapping. So that is really making this interaction between Jadu Connect and Jadu Central seamless, really linking these applications together and making your life as, process builders so much simpler. We're also going to be introducing in that version, similar to what Andy was just presenting for Connect, a configurable configurable webhook action for forms. So when you have a customer completing a form, being able to reach out to a third-party system with a payload which might contain information from the form and pass that off whenever somebody submits a form. So that is low-code development, that's low-code integrations coming through into Jadu Central. And then moving forward, Jadu Central 4.2, we're expecting to do our updated session handling. So that is getting notifications before your session expires, making sure that we don't get into that situation anymore where somebody's session expires and they might lose their data. And then moving forward, we're likely in 4.3 to be looking at language packs. So being able to support more than one language in forms. Hand over to Andy for our Connect roadmap.
Thank you. You've seen what we've delivered so far this year. So within the next 3 months or so, the configurable payload for Connect will be released. After that, it will be the single sign-on for citizen users and multi-factor authentication for non-single sign-on accounts. So your native Connect users will be able to sign up for MFA, rather than trying to cover my words. Following that, I think I spoke about it at the last Academy, data retention functionality within Connect, making it not the same, but in the same sort of vein as how data retention works in forms. So you've got UIs, so you can configure how long your data is held on for, and we're actively scoping that at the moment. Later on, scheduled reports, being able to sort of schedule your reports, enhance the support reporting capability within Connect. And for any developers in the room, we're going to enhance our API so that you can, it's more flexible, so you can pass in parameters to it to affect the results that it returns. Some housekeeping now. In terms of Connect, we currently hold millions and millions of logs related to integrations and webhooks dating back many years. And we are planning to clear out any logs that are older than 6 months. And I'm expecting to do this at the start of August, although the date is to be confirmed, and we will communicate with you ahead of that time. But if you've got any concerns, if you need any logs holding longer than 6 months, please come and find me and let me know. Because once they are gone, we will not be able to recover them. They are a permanent delete. So there's basically any logs that are older than 6 months. So at the moment, that would be logs from the start of, before the start of January that we're planning to remove from the system as part of cleanup. Back to Sarah.
Jadu Central 4. So I mentioned that as part of Jadu Central 4, we're doing a really big development in forms. We're doing a lot of compatibility work with PHP 8.3. If you do manage your own custom developments, if your team has created your own custom developments, we will put out an update guide to help you negotiate making sure that your custom developments will be compatible with Jadu Central 4.0. But this is a heads up that you might need to go and have a look at that. We're not changing a huge amount outside of forms or the PHP 8.3 support. So it should be relatively minor on this one, but just a heads up that it is worthwhile bearing that in mind. I'm just going to show you on, hopefully, our website where to find that information, because we do publish on our docs.jadu.net site on Central, where we publish our documentation. In the develop section, in the upgrade section, we offer upgrade guidance for all of our major versions to talk people through how and where to be looking for this upgrade changes and compatibility points. So if you do have developers working on the application, we'll publish a version of this for Central 4, which will include all that key information. If there are any issues, feel free to reach out to us and we will happily help you as well. But heads up that that's coming. We're expecting that to be around the start of August, end of July, that will ship, at which point we'll be able to provide that further guidance. And that is the end of the slides.